and gentlemen, welcome everyone. Today, wait a second.
Me, and we are about to get into qualifying here. We have one 18-minute session of qualifying here, followed by, I believe it is a 33-lap race.
Yes, exactly that, and it's around the circuit Catalunya in Spain. This circuit is known by its technical turn in the second sector, which we might see some drivers days. It will be probably a pretty close race for the two of the drivers, but let's just hope they'll actually get through it. We have two DRS races, one in the first sector and one in the second sector, which don't give that much actually chance for overtaking. We've got 16 corners, they are that wide, so we probably won't see our drivers fighting throughout them. But we've got 3 tire choices, soft, medium and hard, and of course either and wet. Today we might see some different strategies. I hope we might see 1 or 2 maybe double stops, but we'll see how it goes. Today I'm in commentary booth with Frico.
Yep, you are correct. We've got one DRS zone in the mini straight between turn 8 and turn 9, leading into, do we really want to call it a back straight between turns 9 and 10? Then our second and final DRS detection zone is coming out of the chicane of turn 15 and into the final turn 16, leading into the pretty long front straightaway. So we might see some action on the front straightaway, but as you did say, it's very difficult to pull off a pass unless you're ready to kind of just send it and hope for the best into turn 10. So we'll see how many drivers are willing to kind of risk it for the biscuit, as the saying goes.
That is
I
true.
believe.
And we can see that our championship standings looking pretty good for JTK, that is leading after round 1, and the Mercedes pairing of Danza and Joner, which are in the second and third position, leading right now the Constructors' Championship. And we are moving on to the Aston Martin of Rallison, which is on the lap right now, and we will cover it with Frico.
Alright, so here we go. It looks like we're already into Sector 2. Uh-oh, looks like somebody slowing down a little bit. We're going to come out of turn 9 here into the back straight of turn 10, I believe. Oh, no, I'm sorry. I'm a little ahead of myself. Trying to pick them up on the map, and I picked up the wrong racer here. Hey. Alright, so let's see. Now, we're pretty much at the end of the lap at this point, aren't we? No? Oh, there we are. Now, there, that's turn 10. I recognize that. Alright, so we're going to come through turn 10. We're going to get over, get set up, turn 11. Get way out wide. Now turn 11. We're going to hit... No, that was not what we were going to try to hit there. I was trying to say hit the apex coming into the next set of turns, but Mr. Allison jumped the gun there and hit the wall instead. But doesn't look to be too serious, but this lap is unfortunately donezo here for Mr. Allison.
As we know, the commentator curse is real, and we can see it in a full effect as Vladred goes fast with the first time under 1 minute 18. What do you reckon we will see in the qualifying today as a pole position time?
If we stay out on softs, I'm hoping for, something in the 116s. Somebody just gets that really good solid lap later on. And if I see a 116.9, they'll have earned the pole position this time around. But we're already at 117.3 right now. So is 116.5 on the table? Do you think we'll have, 3/4 of a second, worth of wear in on the track as we have, 15 runners already putting up at least something of a time as we really have just got started once it stops saying what sector of yellow's in. Oh, there it is. 13 minutes left for qualifying.
I just
so we've
realized something. I'm sorry for interrupting you, but JTK crashed out in turn 3, as we can see the yellow flag in the first sector. The leader is
yikes.
out of the qualifying, and he will start P20 if everybody actually makes at least a decent or at least a lap.
Yeah, it shouldn't be too hard for everybody to at least make it around, but we were with Mr. Allison before, and he did not complete his flying lap, having a little trouble heading into the chicane of the 13, 14, 15 complex and touching the wall and going into the pits, and it looks like we got somebody else off onto the side of the road there. Not quite sure who it is, but
I think that was Catastropheas just letting by the McLaren of Cyan, which will cross the line in just a moment to finish the first round of qualifying laps, and that will be a P5 and P6 for the McLaren pairing.
Yeah, pretty solid start to the qualifying section for the McLaren pair. I see a couple of blue dots there, so that's Red Bull, I believe, that are in second and third right now.
That is true. Second and third right now occupying by Red Bull. First is occupied by Nico Rosberg, which is Danza, and his teammate right now is unfortunately in 10th, but he is on his outlap. As Rocco here will at least try to make it around through the final sector, which we know can be tricky, and we found that out actually with the Aston Martin that we were on board over the first lap. But he doesn't have the same accident as the driver before him had, jumping through those curves like a madman and going up and into position number 2.
Wow, that was a pretty solid run. 117.8, still about half a second off from Danza, our provisional pole sitter, as we have just about completed the first half of qualifying at this point. We did have 18 minutes to start the session, and we've got 8 of them in the books, as it looks like a couple cars are making their way out onto the track to have a second go at a qualifying run. So we'll see what we end up with as the track hopefully rubbers in and we get a couple improvements. But right now, we've got 18 of our 19 runners out on the track and setting a time. JTK, unfortunately, will start at the back. Mr. Allison had a little trouble in the ending chicane complex, grazing the wall and able to get back out onto the track as we see him right now. Now we're going to switch over to Joner in Lewis Hamilton, the Lewis Hamilton Mercedes. This looks like a flying lap here, and I just saw a 2/10 ahead of, I believe, the head time here of his teammate Danza.
I think it was an improvement from his own lap, but still 2/10 up, that's a really good time, and that might actually put him up into top 5 if he just finishes the third sector strong, and this will be only P10 from the Mercedes. That is not what they were hoping for. that we
No,
can see
not at all.
we can see the Mercedes just spreading out the gap throughout the top 10, but Danza with a huge amount of relief as his pressure is basically gone, being half a second ahead of everyone else. But looking at the other pairing, we have Shark that just retired on track because he crashed into the wall on the right.
Oh, no, that's no good.
I was about to say that the Red Bull pairing are super close on times because it's 1,000 in between of them, but we will not see Shark improving anymore. He's
kind of hard when that front wing gets knocked off, and yeah, you're pretty much done for. By the time you get back out into the pits, there's just no time left for you. So unfortunately, that will be the end of Shark's qualifying, although he is in fourth place at this point. So, maybe it holds up. Maybe he stays top 10. There is a pretty thin line between what looks like to be about, eighth place and third place right now. 0.2 of a second, separating what's now third and ninth. So everybody seems to be slotting in, and we see Rickety going 1:17.4, hot on the heels, now 0.02 of a second, within 0.02 of a second of the pole time that is currently on the board by Danza.
As in the background, I think that's another spin from Allison, if I'm not mistaken. This driver does not have the best day today. As we can see, his Aston Martin really struggling out there. But as Gamma crosses the line, he's going P3 with 1:17.5. That's a pretty decent time. As we have another retirement. I think this time it was... Yeah, it was...
Looks to be the McLaren of Suyin.
And you can see, maybe we will see with on board here. Yeah, he crashed to the left side, he lost the car on the acceleration. And that is a critical mistake during the qualifying.
Well, the good thing for Shark is that's guaranteed to be at least somebody that will stay behind him in qualifying. We got to find the silver lining somewhere. So, unfortunately, it will be the end of Suyin's qualifying, but we'll see where he ends up. If we have a couple runners, maybe he stays in the top 10. Maybe we see, somebody at the bottom pull off, a little bit of a Christmas miracle here. Changing the setup a little bit, maybe add a little to the rear wing to keep themselves in a better spot. On the racetrack. Hopefully the back end or the front end doesn't go around as much as what was causing these potential spins. Not seeing them, I can't really give a great idea of what's going on in the car. But it looked like, the back end just went around on Mr. Allison when we saw him on our first lap. That was the flying lap that we paid attention to early on.
There is a possibility of the driver just trying to shave off as much downforce from his car as it's possible. As we all know, in Spain there's only one way and one place to overtake. It's on the straight, and if you don't have that overspeed, you're just not gonna do anything. You're just gonna sit where you started.
And here I was about to segue into you saying it would be the pits where somebody was going to pass, somebody. But yeah, this long straightaway that starts the lap is really the best spot to get a run on somebody and get him out of here, as we are 4 minutes left. It looks like some of the racers that are out on the track right now probably trying to set themselves up for that last flying lap. You might be able to get a second flyer in if you get across the line with about, I want to say, 4 to 3:45 left on the clock. 4 minutes, that is. You can get around, get another flyer in. At this point, after that, I think you're going to come out with about 2 minutes left on the clock and hope you don't accordion up. Get a clean lap and see what you can do.
That is true, but we didn't see Danza again on track. I think he's saving one pair of socks for the race. He might be trying to do a double stop strategy, which is pretty decent around here, as this is 33 laps we are talking about. And it is quite possible we'll see maybe one or two safety cars, which may allow him to go for it, as we see Piggy retiring from the qualifying with a rear tire exploding on the barrier from the just massive snap of oversteer on the exit.
Oh, clean up in aisle 8. Oh, what an unfortunate way to end qualifying for Piggy. Just going around, losing it just that little bit. And unfortunately, they will end up no better than 10th so far in the qualifying session. And it looks like we've got Mr. Allison out on another flyer. Let's see if we can hold it going into the latter stages of the lap. And it looks like he's coming through turn 12 right now, heading into his nemesis, the 13, 14, 15 S's complex. And it looks like clean so far. Let's see. Yeah, pretty good. Pretty solid run here. So let's see what we can make of this time for Mr. Allison. No, 119, definitely an improvement. But we've got one more shot at it, but it looks like they're going to just pull over and, maybe not make it around one more time.
I don't think he'll have the tires to improve as well, as we all know that... Oh, naughty boy. As Allison parks his car, unfortunately, in the wrong place. He was blocking the pit lane and he got disqualified for that, which puts him down to P20, and JTK moves up to P19.
Wow, that is unfortunate. I mean, in the way of positions lost, maybe not the biggest issue, because Mr. Allison was going to be starting from near the back anyway, but that disqualification, race control being a little bit of a pest there. And, I see it. People were going to try to come out. There were, about 2 minutes left on the clock. So anybody trying to make that final run's got to be out on the track much sooner than later at this point. It's going to take about a minute and a half to make it around and get any kind of momentum, as I believe we're going to be on board with Danza on a flying lap here. So here we go. We're coming into the straight. We're going to hit the brakes a little bit. Head into turn 1. Looks good there. Turn 2 looks pretty good. Wade out to the middle of the track. Hold into turn 3. Catch a little bit of the edge on the exit there. Pretty good. All right. Here we go. Coming around. Ooh, holds it there. Slow it down. Ooh, holds it. All right. Don't go too wide. All right. All 4 tires on. No invalidated laps so far.
As here we go. Retirement from Vladred. We don't know if it was a crash or just in the pit lane. He just walked out from the pit lane. I can see him from our commentary box. He didn't think he could improve.
Oh, that's purple from Danza coming through turn 11 into turn 12 here. So if they can keep it clean through the chicanes, we might see a provisional pole lap that's better than what they had set earlier in the session. So we'll see if Danza is able to hold it through everywhere clean.
And he does improve.
Wow.
But let's see Karam. Yeah. Karam didn't improve enough. As we can see his teammate right now, Danza's teammate, trying to mount a challenge. He is only P7. And Rickety, the only one who could possibly manage to snatch this pole position, goes to the pits after invalidating his lap, unfortunately.
Yeah, so that looks like it might be it here for our session. Rickety is in the pits, and Dunzo. Rocco might be still out on the track. Let's see if we can catch anybody. No, pulling in the pits there. Let's see. We might have one, maybe two possible runners on a fast lap. We got somebody coming through
I think
turn
that's it.
15 and into 16.
Those
Looks like a
driver,
Ferrari.
those drivers, I think, are done with their laps. Yeah, they are just waiting for the session to end.
Yeah,
Unfortunately.
they're just kind of making it back around. So it looks like everybody out on the track is done for in the way of their qualifying runs. So at this point, we can take a look at the field, and that'll pretty much be everything we're looking at come a little bit of a break here as we go into preparing for the 33 laps and our round two race at Spain.
Well, this was a pretty good quali from our drivers, and let's check it out. Danza with a 17.2, 1.7 tenths difference to P2 of Rickety. Then we have Rocco in AlphaTauri, Karam in Williams with a beautiful outing for this team. Haas in 5th with TC Mustache, their home American hero. Then Gamap in the Red Bull in P6 salvaging what Shark couldn't. In P7 we've got Natanza's teammate Joner. In Mercedes, Shark in P8 will try to make up for the quality crash, but then in P9 we've got an Aston Martin from Vladred. In P10 we've got another McLaren from Cyan. Virkens in P11, Piggy in Williams in P12, Magnetek in 13th, Lars in 14th, Lepson in 15th, and the rest of the field is just gonna bunch up at the back and try their best to avoid the contact in the turn one.
Now, one thing I did notice out of all of that is most of the teammates had some separation between themselves on the grid. So it will be very difficult for any kind of a team running order or a team maneuver to try to, move up to the front. You're pretty much all on solo missions at this point to just get through the first couple turns and into the race proper.
That is true, we won't see much of a team play, but we might see some actually disagreement about pitting which lap, and because both of the teammates will have to make up as much positions as they can in the pits, and the undercut is pretty powerful around here, and if both will want to pit on the same lap, it won't work out for them pretty good, as they will just block each other in the pits.
Well,
as we do have some drivers that have some issues with their car, as we can see.
Well, it looks like a couple may have not quite connected into the session yet. It does look like a couple of the cars are ghosted. Not a big concern in the immediate here and now, but what I'd really like to see is, there we go. That's that pit strategy. What I was thinking was maybe trying to extend the hards as far as you can get them, and then switching to maybe the medium or the soft afterwards. So we'll see if there are any runners that are starting on the hard tire and just trying to see what they can get out of that hard tire. And, we'll go from there. So, there we go. Thank you. It looks like a lot of hard, a lot of medium, no soft. So nobody trying to just commit to that two-stop strategy that you were mentioning earlier while we were speculating and qualifying. It looks like everybody's going to try to set up, hard to medium or medium to hard, and then it's just a matter of staggering their pit stops to stay out of each other's way.
That is true. Danza made a pretty good choice to start on the hards, as this is the compound you want to get rid of as fast as you can. And actually, on Spain, it's not that bad after lap 6. So if he doesn't lose his position in 6 laps, I think he'll just pull away.
Oh, I'm seeing something not too great out in the middle of the pack there. It looks like Piggy and Magnetic disqualified from the section. It didn't look like they moved from their spots, so...
they might have collided, unfortunately. As
Oh no, and it looks like someone else has been disqualified from the session.
that was Karam. I think he might have just overshot his grid slot, as it happens to a lot of drivers right now.
Oh my. Almost everybody's getting knocked out of the session. Hopefully it'll reset itself for when the race goes good. All right. Okay. All right. So a little bit of shenanigans with the parade lap. The lights are out, and here we go. So we're going to start on board.
Amazing start. He's already 7 tenths ahead of the second place. As we can see some shenanigans as well in the midfield of the pack, which is the main battle point. Look at Danza just pulling out and away. This is an amazing start from the Mercedes driver, as the AlphaTauri just cannot challenge him right now.
Looks like we have a couple winners and a couple losers here. Unfortunately, we see Shark at the back of the pack, about 6 seconds behind. Unfortunately, look like...
And Shark, we've got a car out and into the barriers. It's unfortunate.
Oh no.
Shark at the back of the pack.
Yeah, so it looks like, unfortunately for Shark, that his race is done, possibly before it ever really even got started. Looked like Yellow had come out right in first turn, and unfortunately for him, just getting caught up, and never want to see it, but unfortunately a DNF for Shark.
But his teammate is getting a pretty good look at that rear wing of McLaren. He might challenge him into turn 1, as he's trying to, and burning probably his ERS right now, going into turn 1. Is he gonna pull out from this DRS, from his slipstream? He is, but he's not gonna have enough power to actually get through.
Yeah, I think we're going to have to hold position here for a lap, kind of build up the battery, and then make that run at the end of lap 3 when the DRS is enabled. I really don't think you could get too much of an effective run when we're coming through and, you know, in this part of the track. We're coming out of 8 into turn 9. This is where that detection zone is for the little mini straight here after turn 9 and into turn 10.
That is true, but you can also see that Gamma is again trying, this time around the outside. We don't see many overtakes around the outside here, but the outside turns into inside to the next corner, and he will have that position right now.
Well done. Nice move there, going around the outside, holding his line. Clean race, clean pass, beautifully done.
Now this sector 1 will be critical for the Red Bull driver, as he has to make up 5 tenths in order to have the DRS behind Rickety and get back into the fight for even win.
Looks like we got a problem in turn 16. It looks like somebody...
It's Lars for
yeah,
Haas.
Lars. That looks like a Haas going... able to save it, but, you know, unfortunately losing all the position that he had gained so far early in the race. So shuffling himself back into the pack. Mr. Allison...
We have another spinner. This time it's a catastrophe for Alpine in turn 4, if I'm not mistaken. No, I'm sorry, turn 5. This is not a good start for the Alpines. But his teammate right now, JTK... Oh no, this is a commentator's curse. I'm super sorry.
No.
But JTK just spun out in turn 9. Going onto the straight. Well, I better just keep quiet then from now on.
Alright, yeah, just cue the music at this point, because if we open up our mouth again, somebody's gonna go around, so, oh my. Oh, what a nightmare.
And you just said that while we were watching Mustache. There's no way. Unfortunately, the Haas spins out. Another Haas spins out again in turn 16.
Yeah, I believe it was the teammate of Lars, Mustache, that went around this time. But yeah, it just seems to be that anytime we decide to open our mouth, somebody is going around here. So, and it looked like somebody had trouble coming out of 15 and into 16 and just crossing the line. So it looks like, yeah, there's able to make it into the pits. And it looks like Mr. Allison is called it a race here as well. Yeah.
I think he might have retired on the track actually. I'm not sure. Yes, he did. His car is still moving. That is not legal. And that will be probably punished later on. But we have to move on with our race. As I said earlier, Gamap had to close down the gap. Right now he's out of the DRS and the gap is just getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and right now there is nothing he can do about it.
At this point, DRS is open, so... Oh, I don't know. You set the fastest lap of the race. I would think that might help you, do a little something about it there. So Gamma, getting the fastest lap of the race, he is in clean air. The runners in front of him, it looks like Rocco. Oh no, an AlphaTauri going around.
This time from
turn 4,
P2, unfortunately. He was up there, he was just... The only thing he had to do was just keep calm and just drive his laps. But unfortunately he lost the back end into turn 4, and as we can see from P2, it's down to P12. Which gives
very
Danza...
unfortunate. You have such a clean race early on, and this is what one mistake will do to a race. Just completely just throw it right into the dumpster here. At this point, if I were Rocco, I would almost consider, switching on to the hard tire, getting to, a good point in the race, try to get some time back. Oh no, and a Haas. Oh, it looks like Lars again finding, trying to go for a little shortcut there out of turn 9.
I think he's trying to play a little bit of a ballerina today out here. But we see Rocco, just as he said, I think he's gonna go on hards and try the strategy you just mentioned. Which might be actually a reverse of commentator's curse. Maybe we'll see him actually gaining a lot of positions from that. He pitted from, I think, P13 right now.
No, those look like yellow stripes. That looks like medium to medium for Rocco.
Let's see. This is gonna be a hard tire.
Oh, it is a hard tire.
Yes, it is.
Oh, that really looked like it was a yellow stripe, not white. So
I can agree with you because I was baited as well for a little bit, as you mentioned that. But we can see Danza just pulling away from Karam as they lost the DRS to Rocco, who had the DRS on Danza. And from that point on, as the hards just got better and better, because it's lap 6 already, the mediums started to be more equal to those tires. They just don't have that edge over the leader right now. But you mentioned earlier that Gamap had the fastest lap and was closing in, and he did close in, and he's got the DRS on the pair that we just see, as Rickety moves up to P2 with a great overtake around the outside of turn 1.
And it looked like somebody had set a new fastest lap while we were touching on that last point. I believe it was Joner.
Yes, it was. This man is on a mission. After poor qualifying, he has to make the best of the race to just get those points for the team and try as hard as he can to just get as much points for the team, to just push them higher and higher in the constructors. As we see, I think
right now we're going into
with another spin in third sector.
Oh my. It looks like everybody is just having a ball of fun there in looks
Rocco
like
again
turn
in the pits.
Wow. Well, this might be, we're about the 20% race distance at this point. And going out on softs for Rocco. Interesting strategy here. If they do set a fastest lap, the best they're going to do is basically take a point away from somebody else. And that somebody else right now would be Joner, that is presently in 6th place, making a move on Suyan, maybe overtaking for 5th.
I don't think that fastest lap would actually come to the end, as well as we know later on in the race there might be some people out of the points that just want that fastest lap credit. But we will
I
see.
think that might just be what Rocco is going for in the here and now. He's just going, all right, well, you know what? My race day is pretty much done. Let me, put on the softs and see what I can do. And if somebody else, at the end of the race betters me, then good on them. But you know what? I'm going to give it a shot. And this is all I got right now. So here we go.
He will start his attempt right now as he's heading down to turn 1. But we are right here in the fight for 5th position between Joner and Cyan. I almost said Lewis Hamilton, to be fair. As he is getting the DRS and closing in on the driver in front of him, but not quite close enough. I don't think he's trying to overtake him, to be fair, as we can see him not using his DRS. He might be just charging up his battery to mount an easy overtake later on in the race and just pull away using that ERS.
Now, there's a lot of ways to look at this. He might just be setting him up. Oh my, that's not a good setup. Somebody going around there.
That's Thomas D, unfortunately, in the turn 1. And again in turn 4, but that's an amazing save and a little bit of a Tokyo drift, but we are not in Japan yet, at least.
Yeah, trying to audition for the next Fast and Furious movie I see there. But, that's going to be rough. Probably a little bit of tire damage there, so would not shock me to see Thomas D going into the pits. And there we go. Rocco setting the fastest lap with a 120.1. So
that was to be expected, but we can see a fight for the last podium paying position. And I don't think Kerem actually defended it at all. I think he wanted the Gamma to pass him to hold up and just get in his DRS and just drag himself along back to Rickety. As Rickety actually closes the gap down to 1.1 seconds up to Danza. But we have to remember, Rickety right now is on the worst tire. And this tire will not last as much as Danza's hard tire, which means Danza right now has a strategic advantage, and that's not enough for Rickety, even if he overtakes Danza now, to clinch the victory later.
Well, at this point, you're going to have... you got to look a little bit at the long term here, because Rickety is going to probably head into the pits around lap 14.
Oh!
Whoa, that
is an uncharacteristic
have a little
mistake.
Issue with track limits there. That was not where the road was intended to go for Rickety there. So a little bit of an oopsie diddle there.
Yeah, he might have been trying to use the old layout of the track, but I think he remembered just in time that the track has been remodeled for this year. As we can see, I think that's Rocco again, just spinning in turn 4. This driver did not have the best start of the season, at least in Spain. Unfortunately, this race, unless there will be a safety car, will not be salvaged yet for this driver.
Here's where things could go right for Rickety. Because Rickety will come into the pits probably around the next 2 or 3 laps. I would assume lap 14, although it could happen lap 13 and go for a potential, traditional undercut. But every lap earlier you come in, you're asking those hard tires to go that one more lap longer. And we saw at Bahrain last week, the race that I commentated on Thursday, we had a little bit of trouble trying to extend the hard tires. Maybe a little bit longer than they should have gone, but that tire wear is a relevant thing.
That is true, and we don't want to talk about my mistake there last week on Thursday. But yeah, that is very much
I
true.
wanted to dance around it as much as I could. I tried. I really tried.
Well, as we begin going into the more, you can say, boring part of the races, no one really wants to overtake at this stage of the race. No one wants to actually use up their tires before going into the pits. And we can see the gaps forming a little bit big, gaps like 2 seconds, 1.5 seconds, and when there are drivers within 1 second, they just want to drag each other along without any overtakes for now.
It's the safe play. I mean, sure, you want to jockey for position, but is this really the time you want to do it? That's the real issue. We saw so many
As
people
Danza,
almost.
wait a second, I'm sorry, but Danza makes a big mistake and he loses 0.8 of a second in one corner, which brings Rickety up to his rear bumper straight away.
And I was just about to say that, you really just want to save yourself for, making a good run coming out. Oh, there goes. The wings open, so we'll see if the DRS is enough to have Danza dethroned here by Rickety coming into turn 1. No, looks like not enough.
The driver didn't use, the McLaren didn't use any of his energy, so I think he will just try to stick with the DRS of Danza and save up his tires as much as he can to prolong his stint up and into the race. As we've got 3 little DRS trains, actually DRS duos we can say, one fight for the P1, one fight for P3 and one fight for P5, which is pretty usual for this track, but it is pretty usual for Monaco as well.
Monaco you can't really pass. Here you've got at least a shot in a couple places on the track, although I would say chances are you're hoping that the driver in front of you makes a mistake that you can capitalize on, like we saw Danza make this last lap, but this lap was fairly clean, so Rickety holding position about 0.2 behind, and oh, here we go. Can they hold it through turn 1? Yes. Oh, the switchback. Oh, Rickety not quite able to finish it off and shut the door on Danza.
Danza making a beautiful defense there. That's the way to defend from the driver on the faster, I think still a little bit faster tire than his, but a little bit more worn out as well. Which means Danza is getting a little bit more of an advantage from lap to lap. And we might see soon Danza pulling out and away from Rickety.
Well, this is where Rickety really needs to consider going in and getting on the hard tire, because you'll have a couple laps where Rickety can make up time on the fresher hard tire, because Danza's probably going to go to about lap 20. So we'll have 5. Oh, Rocco. Again, right in front of the pit entry.
That driver is not having his best day, as he probably will retire right now in the pits because he just got lapped. And we've got Williams of Karam actually pitting from mediums, going for an undercut on Gamma and Rickety, which might work. We will see if Rickety or Gamma respond in this lap. I mean, that would be what I would do at least, because the undercut on this track, if you lose the position, you will lose it forever almost, as we can see.
Oh, somebody going around.
JTK in the
But
third sector.
Aram is probably doing the strategy that I would have tried for if I were in one of these race seats right now.
Well, I'm sorry to cut you off, but look where he is. He's right behind his teammate. They can actually pull each other and drag each other away from the cars behind, and this way giving Karam DRS as well, and helping him warm up his tires and making the best out of an undercut.
Yeah, this is a really good situation for Karam because everybody in front of him, they're all going to have to come into the pits. And I'm trying to do a little bit of quick math here as to where he might be, provisionally speaking, once everybody, comes out and cycles through the pits. As we see Danza, Rickety, we see, it looks like McLaren and or a Ferrari going around in turn 15 and 16.
And he loses out from his he loses his fifth position, and he loses a lot of points for McLaren team right now, but we might see him yet recovering.
Well, this is why I was saying these tires are going to just start to go at this point. Even the hards, you're going to wear out.
That is true, but also look at, as we have unstoppable, unfortunately, with a 5-second penalty. But you have to look as well at Karam. He lost 1 second to his teammate during that one lap because of the tire warming up procedure he had to do during the last lap. As we all know, tires don't come out anymore warmed up from the pit box. You have to warm them up manually as they are 75 degrees on the pit exit, which isn't the best looking at the first and second lap at least.
Yeah, they definitely made it a little more difficult for coming in and out of the pits and having the most optimal tires. And it looks like Gamab is into the pits now as well. So getting off of the medium tires after 16 laps, going on to the hards.
He is responding to Karam's undercut, but let's see if this undercut actually worked. We have to remember that he will be a little bit behind the Red Bull driver for sure, but the Red Bull driver has at least 1.5 laps of warming tire procedure laps. So the Red Bull will be painfully slow right now, and we might see Williams actually catching up and passing him in the next couple of laps.
Well, Karam's teammate and Piggy right ahead of him and right on the back diffuser of Gamab here. What is that, a 10.5 second behind? So
even might be less right now, as they are.
They're almost side to side at this point.
This is gonna be pretty close. I think Piggy will try to overtake him down into turn 10 after this corner and on this DRS straight right now. But is the Red Bull gonna defend? He is gonna.
I just don't think there's enough real estate there for, even with DRS open, to really affect a pass. And it looks like we have another runner that is out of the race.
The team decided to not pursue any more of this race and just save the car for the next races. He retired in the box. We can see him going into his box and getting dragged into the garage. As Piggy gets a 3-second time penalty, and Gamab right now with a warmed up tire is way ahead of Karam, unfortunately, for the Williams driver.
What I did notice is Danza and Rickety both went into the pits, so...
That is true, but Danza wants to make 15 laps on the mediums. Those mediums
that's going to be... that is definitely going to be on the edge of what I think the mediums are capable of. We saw a couple runners go 15, 14 laps, but that was about as long as we saw them go. I think I would have taken the hards a little bit further. Like I said, probably close to lap 20. But, the racers that are in these cars, they have a much better feel for the car and how it's acting turn by turn than I do, watching things from afar, essentially in the commentary box. So I will trust the racers and their judgment when it comes to their particular strategies.
That is true. We also know that Mercedes strategies are one of the best on the grid. As we can see, another wave of drivers pitting. As Joner actually overcuts Gamma and Karam, both of them losing position to him. And Joner right now provisionally in position number 3, but right now he's fighting with the Red Bull of Gamma. And Gamma is gonna capitalize on Joner's cold tires from the exit of the pits, but I don't think Gamma will stay there for long, as the medium tire will be superior for the next 10 laps.
Yeah, I think Joner on that medium tire is going to have the advantage. Karam does have, a warmed up hard tire. They'll be able to defend. The same with Gamab. They have the hard tires, they've got a little heat in them. So when it comes to making that car a little wide coming out of turn 9 and defending through to turn 10, shouldn't be too much of a problem. The real issue is going to be coming out of 15 and maybe, getting a good run out of 16 onto the main straight. You see the DRS wing opening. So we'll see if they can make a run here.
He's going for it around the outside. Is he gonna make it stick? This camera angle doesn't tell us much, but I think he does. As we can see in the left rear mirror, the Red Bull driver is far behind him already after turn 1 and 2.
Yeah, pretty clean there. So, just open the wing, dump the battery into it. You kind of sell out a little bit, but when it comes to taking over, a position, on the latter stages of the race, we're getting into the back third at this point. If my calculations are correct, it should be lap 20.
And he's already surpassed Gamma by 1.3 seconds, which means the Red Bull driver does not have DRS on the Mercedes ahead.
And so that medium tire now paying dividends, but are we going to have those tires hold up for the last 13 laps that we're asking? Yes, the fuel load will be a little bit lower.
And Alpine
but
is another driver. Alpine has another car that just retired in the pit lane. They decided to not finish the race and save the car once again. As we can see, Joner with a blasting pace. He's the first man to go down to 1/19s, and he's catching Rickety, I think even 5 to 4 tenths per lap, so we might see him in a striking distance in the next 4 laps.
Well, everybody's made their pit stops at this point, so everybody's fighting for their final positions on the track. You're not going to be able to pass anybody in the pits at this point. So, where we see everybody is essentially where they're at, with no assistance of having, an undercut and overcut. All of those are done. And now we'll see if, those that tried for an undercut or an overcut, reap the benefits of their strategies.
That would be interesting for sure, as we now see Joner cutting in to the advantage of Rickety by 6 tenths on this lap. That man is on a mission, and he is gonna overtake Rickety really soon.
Now, it looks like we have ghosted cars, so that's lap traffic.
That's lap traffic
there
from Rocco, which gave actually Joner a DRS an advantage of around 3 to 4 tenths of a second on this first straight, which is a lot, as you can see, as he already basically is in the DRS zone of the McLaren head.
Oh, yeah, just outside of it. 1.1, 1.2. It's so close to getting that DRS zone. So unfortunately, I don't think we'll get it in this particular detection zone. It looks like 1.2 going up just a little bit.
I think the Rickety started to feel a little bit of pressure and had to worn out his battery a little bit, as we can see him pushing and pushing and getting that advantage up again, up to even 1.4 seconds, even almost 1.5 as it just clocked in.
Yeah, I think somebody got into his ear and said, yeah, that guy behind you, he's closing, and he is closing fast.
Well, as you probably know from your own experiences, there is nothing you can do apart from hitting the gas even harder.
Yeah, just about. That's about it. Yeah, you can will the thing forward only so much, but there is a thing that, might play in Rickety's favor. He does have the hard tire. He'll have about 15 laps on that hard tire. So he'll definitely have something left when it gets near the end of the race. However, we're looking at about that same amount of time for Danza and Joner, the Mercedes sandwich that Rickety in the McLaren finds himself in right now. So this might be a little bit of a tough one here.
And I think that's a Williams going off in turn one. Yes, that's Piggy. He loses his final points paying position and he drops from P10 down to P11, as he will not help his teammate Karam score any points today, unfortunately. And as you can,
there's a little bit of race left. You never know. Somebody else tries to fight a little too hard for a position. We got a decent little battle that might be brewing between the second McLaren and I believe an Aston Martin and a Williams. That 5, 6, 7, Karam, Vladrid, and Suyin.
That might be a battle that is a battle that we will watch pretty closely right now. But we saw that Vladred is still flashing his red light behind, which means he's under 10% of battery. And as the other cars don't flash their batteries, that means he's in a big disadvantage right now in this little sandwich of his.
I don't think he's going to be in too much trouble. But, there's always...
As we have a safety car.
Oh, that's a yellow.
That's a safety car. That changes the race completely.
Oh, absolutely. It looks like, who is that? That's out there. There's somebody not moving that's in the pits right now, and I'm trying to figure out who that might be.
That actually is, I think, a safety car.
Oh, that is the safety car itself. I'm trying to scan through and figure out who went around or, what brought out the safety car.
I think it might have been Thomas D spinning out next to the pit lane last sector, as I didn't see anything else happening on the track. And if that is why we have a safety car, we can see the front runners grabbing their pits and going for the soft tire right now. Now this
absolutely.
Is
Danza going on the soft, Rickety on the soft.
As Vladred actually thinks twice and doesn't pit, he takes the lead of the race right now. And that might be a win or that might be a lose strategy. We will find out pretty shortly.
Oh, this is going to be so tense. You're going to have Vladrid on the mediums with, plenty of life in him. Going to have to hold on for probably the better part of 5 laps. The safety car should come in around lap 28. If I'm going to estimate. Oh no, Piggy going a little too fast, speeding in the pit lane. So a penalty being assessed there.
I don't think the drivers that went for the soft tire made the right choice. The soft tire will not last, especially on Spain, which is known for overheating the tires. And if they do something like Danza just did, if they warm up the tires a little bit too much, they will have the tire temps way too high to even be on the track and even keep the car on the black stuff.
Well, there's no risk without reward. So I can see the strategy. You're going, all right, we're going to have the tires last 4, maybe 5 laps. Can we ask 5 laps of the soft tire?
We can, but we also have to add the 2 laps under the safety car, which will equal to 1 normal lap around Spain. So it will be around 6 laps of lifetime. The softs have an advantage above mediums for around 3 to 4 laps, but the last lap, maybe lap and a half of the race, will be where the softs will have a, as we call it, a cliffhanger, where basically they'll drop off even 2 seconds off of their pace at one point.
Yeah, well, once the softs go, they go. That is very true. The real question that we're going to ask is, well, does Danza have enough in the softs to make a run on Vladrid?
I think that's an answer that's a question that will be answered with an emphatic yes, as the soft tire for the first, I think, 2 laps at least, will be at least 1.5 seconds faster per lap than the old mediums that Vladrid is right now on. But we also have to account for the tire temperatures and the confidence that both drivers have in their abilities. As we saw Danza dominating the race for the longest time today, I don't think he actually was passed for the first place. I think he was leading all the time, at least virtually, when he pitted later on. So right now he is in a virtual leader position, P1 position, I'd say. But we cannot discount also for Vladred's amazing defense, which he is known for.
Well, Vladrid was the one that went long on the hard tires and held on to that first position, going in, I believe, on lap 20 for the medium tires, and that is the tires that Vladrid is now on, staying within range so that when the safety car did come out, he was able to pass Danza, Rickety, Gamma, Joner, who had all pitted for that soft tire.
That was a good strategy call from Aston Martin, but looking at the gaps and looking at the drivers that he has behind him, I think he will be satisfied with a podium position today.
Oh, this is going to be a tense one because, Vladrid might lose a little bit of position. We does have 4 racers behind him on that soft tire. And this should be the lap the safety car comes in.
I think it will be, but we also have to account when we talk about the soft drivers behind them at least, that those drivers will fight for their lives between each other. This might be a clean fight, but we cannot discount for the pressure and the determination that those drivers have to win the race, as Vladrid unfortunately has been disconnected from the session just as we are about to
that is absolutely
restart.
The worst possible situation for Vladrid. Oh, please reconnect, and soon. I'd hate to see things go so terrible like this.
He is unfortunately known also not only for his good defense, but for his sketchy, as I might say it, internet connection, which failed him unfortunately again in the most dire
and there it is, safety
laps.
Car in this lap. So, this is going to be it. Vladrid, oh no, I hate to see it. Such a beautiful strategy ruined by what is going to end up being a disconnection. Oh, what a shame.
Unfortunately, this is something that is out of his control, and that's probably the most frustrating thing that can happen to a racer. But he'll have to move on. He'll have to adapt after this race. Maybe he'll make some changes. But as we can see, Danza is gonna restart as the as the Aston Martin is going to go into the box. As Danza is restarting, Rickety is going straight into his slipstream. Same with Gamab. Gamab is closing in with an amazing overspeed. I think this might be even 3 wide into turn 1. It is not, but it is 2 wide between the Rickety and the Gamab. Unfortunately, they collide in turn 1, which Joner makes the best of it and goes up to P2. Right now it's at 1-2 for Mercedes, but Joner goes a little bit wide and the Gamab is getting back his position. The Red Bull getting his knockback on the Mercedes driver. But I think Joner is trying to stick it around the outside to make it down the inside into turn 5. This is amazing racing from both of them. Is the Red Bull gonna try down the inside here? He does, but he pulls out of this move at the last second as he knows this is probably not the smart move to do.
Oh, what a shame. Bladrid, it just shows up, rejoins the session, but I believe they are in the pits and essentially done for.
Unfortunately,
at this point.
Yeah, the team called him into the box to get him back into that car, and he is 15 seconds behind the whole pack.
Yeah, unfortunate for Vladra to see everything go like that, as well as both of the McLaren drivers. Suyan ended up going around.
That's Mustache going around in turn 16. This is what I was talking about, the pressure that those drivers are at the end of that restart, at least, when you can see that. It's just sometimes too much for them. As Rickety is now in P11 trying to make the best out of the race and the collision that happened in turn 1 and the restart. Fortunately, we captured that collision and it will be reviewed by the stewards afterwards. But I know in that McLaren, his head is probably just boiling hot right now.
Well, I think both of the McLarens, because Suyan went from something like 6th all the way down to the back of the pack in 14th now.
That is true, and that's not good for their championship, at least in the constructors speaking.
Yeah, to borrow the old line of one of the introductions to a show I watched growing up, some experience the thrill of victory, and that'll probably be the pair of Mercedes now running 1 and 2. But then we have the agony of defeat for the McLarens that had just a terrible restart sequence, as well as Bladrid just getting disconnected at the absolute wrong time.
And we can see 2 fights right now. Rickety's fight for life and a little bit of points, and also Rocco's fight for another point scoring position to get back up that order. He was P20 for a while, or P19, because we've got the retirement of Shark in the first laps. But he is back up to points. That's why we never give up, and that's why we still race. And Rickety unfortunately pushes it a little bit too much. His tires overheat and give up in turn 4, which makes him spin around and lose a lot of positions, which means he will not end up in points today.
Yeah, unfortunate that, the soft tires for Rickety have just seemed a bit, nope, get me out, tapped out, I'm done, call it right here.
But that's something now the first top 3 runners will have to watch out for. If one driver overheated his tires after only 3 laps of racing, actually even 2 because it was in turn 4, it wasn't even half of a lap, half of the third lap. This is something they'll have to watch out for, as Gamab right now will probably mount another strike on Joner. Or actually he's trying to stay behind for the last lap of the race, because he knows if he overtakes the Mercedes now, he will lose the position later on.
Yeah, he'll give the DRS right back, and I don't think that's what they want to do. And it looks like Suyan or Rickety involved in another little get-together there, coming out of 15 into 16.
As we have an almost 4 wide fight here out into the 4th corner and 5th there, you can see as driver unfortunately spins around. Alfa Romeo will not be happy with that, but this is the fight we're watching, this is the fight we're living for right now, as we know, Gamma will pop up. Actually, Gamma is going for an overtake on Joner. I don't think that was the right move, to be fair.
Well, we'll find out in the better part of about a lap and a half if it was the right move. But we've got yellow in sector 2 and 3 as everybody's realizing, oh yeah, there's the better part of a lap and a half left.
Look at that.
Danza crossing the line, starting lap 32.
Lap 32 already on the way, but look at this fight. 5 cars fighting for P8. This is amazing, as we have 4 drivers actually colliding out there. That was not the best way to finish up the race.
No, just all coming unglued at this point. Danza just going, all right, yeah, you all just, have at it. I'm just going to, stay at the front of the pack here. Just leave me alone. Let me go off on my own merry little way. As, a little bit of a fracas there in the, bottom half of the points-paying positions. Piggy, I believe, picked up another penalty, so that might knock them down to potentially 11th or 12th with the accumulation of penalties against them. So just a little provisional something to keep in mind here.
But this is close racing. Look at the 2 drivers on the mediums, the Williams and the Ferrari, closing up on both soft runners that their tires will be crying out for help on this last lap of the race right now. Danza is out and away on his merry way. He will win this race if he doesn't make a mistake. But we will have here the fight of our lives, the fight for the 3rd position and the fight for what can be the end of the race as the 2 soft tire runners collide between each other, and we can see Joner rejoining dangerously a little bit and still fighting for the 2nd place actually, with the Williams right now of Karam. This is
wow, that that was an interesting little sequence. It looked like I'm not going to place blame anywhere because I know in the heat of the moment stuff happens, and there's not really a right or wrong that's meant to be assessed by the drivers there. But Rickety setting the fastest lap after having the disaster of about 5 laps ago occur. I don't think Rickety will make it back up into the top 10.
And look at that,
so that
Gamma lost another position to the 2nd Ferrari of Magnetech. Ferrari makes a good inroad into Mercedes championship rivalry, as we can see Danza going
a little bit of a T-bone steak there going into turn 15. It looked like what was that, possibly Karam getting sent around.
Karam getting sent around, unfortunately, as we see the driver pairing of Mercedes finishing 1-2 once again in their prime. And then we have 3 and 4 occupied by both Ferrari drivers. Then we have Gamma in 5th for Red Bull, which salvages points on this very bad day for this manufacturer, unfortunately. Then we have Karam Rocco in P6 after being last. Karam T-boned in P7, unfortunately. Lepson in P8 for Alfa Romeo. P9 for AlphaTauri from Thomas D. And the last point scoring position is Cyan, and he makes it for the McLaren. And he gets that 1 point that might be critical later on.
Oh, wow. Magnetic getting the driver of the day. For me, that's an easy one. It's never say quit Rocco. And being able to get through just a disastrous early part of the race, as we see a little bit of the King Tut dance there from our winner.
Danza, the Czech Egyptian, scoring another win in his career in Challenger Series and going into the lead of the standings right now. And the Mercedes pairing that just made another one too in their career, as both of those drivers were paired up earlier in earlier seasons. They did amazing, they do amazing still. Another one too from those drivers, and they are extending the championship fight in the constructors. But as you said, my vote would be for Rocco as well. He didn't give up, he was last, he finishes 6th. That's good enough.
Yeah, for how awful that beginning of the race was. A bit of a recovery drive there for Rocco getting all the way up to 6th, so a fantastic job of it. I believe our fastest lap was Rickety outside of the top 10, so no bonus point being awarded to anyone, if memory serves me correctly, on how that is handled.
Yes, that is a point taken away from the top 10. Rickety just grabbed that point because I think it would have been actually would have been for his teammate, or no, I'm sorry, it would have actually gone to John
Danza
there.
with 119.3.
No, Danza would have gotten another point, which is a great job from Rickety then to just take that point away from Mercedes and Danza that are on a very hot streak right now. With
right, so let's scroll through a little bit. So we've got the 2 Mercedes, the 2 Ferraris, a Red Bull, AlphaTauri, Williams, Alfa Romeo, and then we get to Thomas D and Piggy, who were fighting over those last couple spots with Suyin, who had a disastrous end of the race with the getting spun around, I believe, with 5 laps to go when we went green after that caution. So the McLarens, the big losers there in that last sequence of the caution and everybody cycling through. Unfortunately, it cycled the McLarens all the way to the back of the grid.
That's true. This is something we did not expect, at least at the beginning of the race. This is something that McLarens unfortunately have to work with for the next season. For the next race. But I know they won't give up. I know they will try their best to just keep at it and try to get as much as they can to just go through and just punch through this obstacle, as we might call it. And right now we will move on to we will try to get our drivers here into the commentary box, but we will be right back with them. And right now we will leave you down for some music, and we will be right back. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We've got our race winner here, Danza.
Hello.
And here I am with the spotlight shined directly on Danza, our race winner. Uh, how did you feel when that yellow flag came out with about 8 laps left to go?
I was terrified, honestly. I had 4 or 5 seconds gap, I think, for the Rickety, and he was driving exceptionally well, and the hards were starting to be quicker, so he would catch up slightly to me by the end. But I thought this is mine. I just have to get to the end, and then the safety car came out. Plus, the Aston Martin stayed out, which was really scary because I didn't have control over the restart. But yeah, other than that, it went well, thankfully.
Oh, that's good to hear. Do you have anything to say for your teammate that ended up directly behind you in the running order once the restart did unfolded?
Oh, absolutely. Joner has always been an incredible driver, and we're teammates for the second season, and we're driving like teammates for the third season. And honestly, yeah, I expected nothing less of him, to be fair, because when this stuff happens, he's perfect at it. He can drive cleanly when everybody else spins, and that's what he's good at. He had a bad qualifying. I know he could have done a lot better, but from that point, he just drove the best he could, and it was more than enough.
Yeah, I was going to bring that up with him. I just wanted to get your opinion on how things essentially unfolded behind you, and especially with that restart late in the race, where your thoughts were, because I saw you come in for the softs. Was that a conscious strategy where, okay, let's go for the soft, go for the fast lap?
No, that was essentially. So at this point, everybody's gonna pit. Let's box for softs and let's try not to lose this race. If I stayed out like Vlad did, I would have been eaten up by everybody. At this point, everybody usually pits, and if they didn't, I would come out in P6 and I would start overtaking everyone. I also that's the good part. In qualifying, since my banker was really good, like it surprised me how good my banker was. It would have been enough for pole. I only did 2 laps, and I had a fresh set of softs, which I think I was the only one. Perhaps the drivers that crashed had in qualifying had another set of softs, but other than those drivers, I think everybody had to pit for used softs, while I had 10% less wear on them. So that was important.
Okay, so can you enlighten me a little bit? What was the state of your tires at the end of the race? Could you have gone another lap or two, or were you
Oh,
just pretty
absolutely.
much okay?
No,
I
no, no.
was
My tires were about a lap better than every other soft runner's tires were, because of that qualifying thing and the fact that I had a fresh set of softs. But I think I could have done 3 or 4 more laps. 4 would be a stretch. I think I ended with like 40%, maybe 45% on the tires, so they definitely could have gone 2 or 3 laps.
okay. That was really the one thing that I was speculating on is how long those soft tires were going to last. Go, okay, we're going to get 4 laps out of it and hold on to the dear life for the fifth lap, or just a smooth little Sunday drive the whole way through.
Well, it was definitely not a smooth little Sunday drive, especially not with Rickety breathing down my neck. I mean, I was surprised when he spun it. I think he had a collision with Gamma B. Not sure whose fault that was. I guess FIA will have to take a look at that. But from that point, I was thinking, yeah, let's bring this home. The gap is good enough, but there still was the risk of me just binning it somewhere. So I wasn't fully pushing, except for that one lap where I pushed for fastest lap, which Rickety stole from me at the end. Good for him, by the way. That the fact that he didn't retire and gone for the fastest lap, smart of him. But yeah, it was not a smooth Sunday drive considering that I was leading and it was kind of stressful. But the tires were fine.
All right. Well, that's good to hear, and I guess it's good to hear that P1 for you, my friend, this time around. So good job on that. I believe that will consolidate both your standing and the team's standing near the top of the leaderboard after 2 races.
Yeah, that's a good thing. JTK, he seems to be, or at least in Bahrain, he seemed to be our main championship rival, me and Jonas, and he had an unfortunate qualifying, which led to an even more unfortunate race. I think he's gonna be back next race though, so we better watch out. Nothing's won yet. We just got a little bit lucky. Next time he might get lucky, so let's see how it goes.
All right. Well, something to be said for having an early advantage. Get out ahead early, and hopefully you'll be able to stay ahead the rest of the way. Good luck going to you throughout the rest of the season.
Thank you.
All right, now let's bring Joner in here and let Danz's teammate Joner face the music.
As Joner comes here, Joner, welcome.
What is up, guys?
Hello, and first of all, congratulations on the great race and great racecraft today. But there was a little bit of a hinge that you might want to, just explain a little bit to us, as we didn't see it from the best perspective. There was a collision between you and I think it was Gamma in turn 1. What happened there
that's
at
correct.
the end of the race?
Well, unlike my teammate, my tires were not as well off. They were struggling towards the end of that race. Gamma and I would think we're pretty similar on ERS. I didn't see his light, but he was good at managing it throughout the whole race when I was behind him. So basically what happened is he was on the outside. He turned in a little early. We made contact. I mean, if he decides to report it, then we'll see what happens. But I don't think it's anything more than a racing incident, to be honest. I don't think it's penalty worthy for him. But yeah, he turned in a little bit early. I was there on the apex of the corner, and contact was made.
Yeah, it is what it is. It happens, of course. The racing incidents between the drivers happen as well. But your qualifying was especially
atrocious.
Today, yeah, I didn't.
It was not good.
I couldn't find the word, but thank you for that. It was not good, but you made the best of it when Gamap and Rickety collided. You just pulled straight in the middle, threaded the needle between them, and you were doing that the whole race through. You were just pushing through all those drivers ahead of you, trying to make the best out of it. And it worked out pretty well, not only for you, but for the team as well.
Yeah, I mean, it was overall good. I mean, starting P7 was not ideal. I had at least 5/10 in that lap minimum, based on the short quality that Dan's and I did right before the race. But it's always a little bit more fun and a little bit more interesting when you're starting farther back and you got a little bit of work to do. And it's always more rewarding when the result comes after that. So yeah, I mean, there's really not much we could ask for more than what we got, other than maybe the fastest lap. But shout out to Rickety for being smart, like Danza said, and not retiring to take it. But yeah, I mean, everybody loves a comeback drive, so it was a lot of fun. My chat really enjoyed it. So yeah, it was a blast.
Yeah, well, there's not much you can say, to be fair, about this race. But how are you looking towards the next race, which, if I'm not mistaken, is Azerbaijan?
It's gonna require a little bit of practice. I mean, Azerbaijan's a track I don't spend a ton of time on, to be honest. It's not that I dislike it. I mean, I don't love it. But it's gonna take a little bit of practice. But that's something that Dan's and I do all the time, even for fun. We just mess around. So, yeah, I'm excited for Azerbaijan. I'm excited to hopefully keep up the form that we're running. That secures a 1-2 in the driver standings and a constructors championship lead. So, right now, Cloud9 for the boys from Brackley. I'm pretty stoked.
Yeah, we can hear at least that you are working together well, and that you are, of course, you are friends. Let's be real, you were working together a long time before this season happened, and you're working together again. And just looking at how you're both driving, do you think the Constructors Championship might be in one hand yours, and to be fair, might be yours to lose rather than yours to win?
As much as I'd love to say yes, I'm not going to. It's only round 2, so I can't say, yeah, we're totally going to nail this. There's 10 races left in this season. Or no, 11 races left in this season. So I can't say, yeah, this is totally ours to lose, and there's no competition, because that's not true. The competition is there. We saw JTK in Bahrain. We saw both the McLarens today. with a little bit of an unfortunate scenario for Rickety and for Suyen. But we are not the clear-cut fastest guys out here, and I know that. It's going to take practice to do it. So as much as I'd like to say yes to your question, I can't yet. It's going to take a few more races to figure out if we really got a solid hold on this.
Well, thank you anyways for your time. Thank you for beautiful racing that you've provided us today. And I wish you the best of luck. I wish Danza as well the best of luck. I wish you both guys luck in the constructors and in drivers, of course. And, well, I hope we'll hear you again in Azerbaijan.
Hopefully. Thanks, lads. You guys, I'm excited to watch the stream back.
See ya.
As we now will head on and grab ourselves Gamma and, well, hello.
Uh-oh. Oh, dirty mouth.
Sorry. My apologies.
Thankfully,
my
I
apologies.
actually didn't get it on the stream. Whew.
Ah,
But yeah,
Um,
welcome. This race
yeah.
wasn't the best, at least at the end and the ending part and the last part of the race. There were some collisions and some unfortunate accidents between you and some other drivers.
yeah, it was unfortunate. Yeah. I mean, when the safety car came out, I'll be honest, I expected a safety car to come out a lot earlier, and there wasn't one. So when one did come out, and I knew I could box for softs, I knew my opportunity for the win was open, but I had to make moves quickly. But maybe I was a bit too aggressive, or I don't know. But it just, yeah, wasn't ideal. Well, I would rather have stuck in P3 than drop down to P5 or wherever I was. But yeah, I mean, the incident with Jonah, I need to see it from his POV, but from my POV, I extended the corner and gave space. But I need to see all the angles before I can, say anything about it. But yeah,
That is a healthy way to look at it, and that is a very sportsmanship-like behavior as well from you, which I praise really much. And yes, you did finish in P5, unfortunately, after that incident. But still, even though you were pushed off, you were on the gravel, you were struggling out there for the grip, you still managed to keep your car in place on the straight line down into turn 4, and you managed to still finish really high in the points, which will give you a lot of points in the standings. As we know, the points system is much closer than it was before. So hopefully that will give you a little bit of a morale boost, I'll say. And
hopefully.
up to then another championship fight. Your qualifying was pretty good today, as you had to salvage for yourself after your teammate unfortunately DNF'd during the qualifying. How would you sum up your quali?
I mean, I think I had good pace in quali. I just the problem is my first run, I started a bit too close to Thomas D, and towards the back end of the lap, I caught up to him, and I was getting bad dirty air. And then on the second run, I got a clean lap in, improved, and then the final run, I started too close to Thomas D again, and my lap got screwed at the end. But I had at least maybe two and a half more temps in me, so I could have been higher up. It wasn't an ideal quali, but it was still good. I was still up there in the points, so that was a positive.
Well, as we say it, you didn't give up. You still fought after even the incident on the last laps. So that's a great way to finish up. And just I wish you more luck on the next round in Azerbaijan. And how are you looking forward to it as well?
Not at all. Definitely not. I don't know. It's just a street circuits. It's not gonna be fun, but hopefully we can make something happen. We'll see.
Well, you never know. Around Baku, there is always some carnage. So
you
might start P20. You might finish fast. You never know that.
True.
And I just hope we will not have more than 3 or 2 safety cars around there, as we know that's probably not possible. But
we will have a few.
I still wish you luck, and I hope I'll see you again here.
Yeah, thank you very much. All right, bye.
Frico. So we didn't have the number 3 and number 4 spot, and unfortunately, as Ferrari didn't come to our box. Who do you want to get here as well? As I see we have Rickety waiting for a line for it in line, and we have also one shot that DNF'd in the first lap.
You know what? Let's bring in Rickety because they did get the fastest lap of the race. And then we can bring in one shark right after, and get some tales from those that did not unfortunately finish up in the front.
I think Svanshark didn't even finish one lap, to be fair, but we will get right to it after Rickety, and I'll give you the mic.
Hello, Rickety.
I want to cry.
Oh, I know. That was a little rough on that restart. You were doing so well. What second place essentially when it was all going throughout most of the race. I believe one of the runners had stayed out on the hards and had the lead of the race, although everybody stopped for softs.
Yeah. No, it was uh, a good strategy that we had. The tires felt amazing throughout the whole stint, so like I could actually keep up another lap or two on those old mediums behind Danza, but the plan was to pit lap 17 to cover all bases in case of safety cars, etc. No, it was a good race until that incident, and yeah, incident happened. That's racing. It's just unfortunate when you've been in a good position for the whole race, and for everything to be taken away in the last couple of laps. Abu Dhabi 2021. That's all I can say.
Fair enough. From your perspective, do you think anybody did anything wrong, or was it quite literally a racing incident?
So for me, it was more towards Gamma, and that might just be me being biased. But like if we're following from the rule book, that is just cars with given. It's just that his car had a little bounce into my car, which sort of took me out. But like
Unfortunate.
at the other point, like at the other end, right? If you know that those curbs are gonna bump your car a bit, why are you going for that move, knowing that that's gonna happen anyways, regardless? It's gonna be interesting. I don't fault him for trying. It just unfortunate how it happened because I know I left enough room. I don't get penalty points. I haven't gotten a single penalty point to my name the last 3-4 seasons. So I know myself. I'm a good driver when it comes to battling. So it's yeah. I don't know. I left enough space. I couldn't have done much more. If I extended, then I would have been on the curbs on the other side.
Just wrong place, wrong time for you, I guess, at that point. So an
Let's get rid of
unfortunate
safety
occurrence.
cars.
Yeah, just a nice little local yellow where I think somebody had gone around in turn 16 and obstructed the pit lane, which may have been what brought out the full course yellow. If
Someone obstructed the pit lane.
I think so. I could be wrong, but it looked like somebody had spun around that area of the track. We didn't get it on the stream, but
Was that a DNF? Or did a car keep
I'm
moving?
not sure. I believe it was a Haas, and I don't remember specifically which one.
You see, that is wet poo on a summer day. That is, I'm not gonna swear, of course, but yeah, that's wet poo on a summer day.
I got a good idea of where you're going with that, and
Yeah.
I think that was the incident that unfortunately led to your downfall. Although, is there any consolation in that you were able to recover and steal away a point from the top 10?
That was just vengeance. It's like
Fair
if
enough.
someone, at least I can steal a point from someone. No, but I mean, if I look at the bigger picture, already got a championship in my hand, both championship constructors and drivers title under my belt, and from that point on, really, it's when you've already accomplished everything you can do in this league, and in F1 in general, there's like everything else that adds up to it is a bonus. If I happen
Okay.
to fight for the championship this race, that's great. But I'm not gonna put that much focus into it like I used to back in the day, and not really gonna fight too hard for it. I did maybe 10 laps of practice before going into this race, and the fact that put me so high up, that's great. But it's a bonus. Not really looking into battling for any kind of championship this season, even though my pace on the books, my teammate and I might look like it because we have the pace to do so. It's just not that desirable, and I don't desire it as much as I used to because that's already something I got. So yeah, this race went bad. Just forget about the race, move on to the next race. It's more about enjoying the races for me now.
Fair enough. Well, looking forward, I believe it's Baku that's
Mhm.
next up on the schedule. Do you have any particular thoughts about our upcoming race next week?
Oh, I love Baku. Baku is an amazing track. It's the type of track that will make a big difference to those who are experienced drivers and those who are new drivers. Because the track is pretty unforgiving. There is walls everywhere, and you gotta be on your toes throughout the whole lap. And the only time you can really breathe is the main straight. So I'm looking forward to it. It's been one of my best tracks across all Formula One games. So yeah, Baku looks to be a good one. But yeah, it's whatever. Just have fun.
Fair enough. All right. Well, I look forward to seeing you on the streets of Azerbaijan and the Baku circuit next week. Good luck to you. And hopefully things work out a little bit better than they did this week.
It's all right. Thank you for commentating once again. Fucking legends. Oh, that's where, anyways.
Oh. Yeah, the fine is already in the mail.
I mean,
Oh,
hugging
my.
legends. Hugging legends. That's all. Yeah. Don't worry. Anyways, thank you as always. A good one. Bye bye.
All right, excellent. Thank you, Rickety.
Well, we do have Shark. Do you still want to have him here?
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, let's go then.
Let's do it.
Sharky, hello, welcome.
Hi.
You had a really bad day today.
Oh
Unfortunately.
boy, did I!
Yeah.
Oh, where shall we start?
From
Nowhere.
which crash should we start?
Oh no.
Yeah. I the qualifying was 100% on me. I was just really trying to just put heat into the tire so I can have a good lap. I easily was able to compete with Dan's time in practice, from what I was able to do. So I knew I had a chance for pole, and so I really wanted to make sure every lap I was doing was going to be as competitive as I possibly could. Unfortunately, just my greed to try to qualify well, which is understandable, much, and I actually then put the car in the wall.
I'm sorry.
So not a great start to the
Sharky,
weekend.
I'm sorry, but can you just repeat that last part as my audio got backed for a little bit? So just please repeat that as the stream didn't.
Yeah, I think I was just in practice I was able to compete with Dan's time of a low 27. In terms
27?
of doing, or 27, 17. Sorry, low 17 in terms of qualifying. I know numbers right now are going through my head.
Don't worry about it.
So I knew I was able to compete with his time, and I wanted to make sure that every lap that I was doing in qualifying was going to be with as the perfect perfect heat in the tires as I could. And I was really just aggressively heating up the tires, and it was just too much. It was too aggressive. I was really going for it, and I put it into the wall in accident. 100% on me. In terms of what happened in the race, I made it around 3 corners, and then no, I made it all the way to turn 4, and then I retired the car because I had rear wing damage. I have to rewatch and see exactly what happened to myself, but I have no clue really what happened. I just know I got hit in the rear and I spun off the track. Really unfortunate because I knew I was able to challenge for the win today. I was on pace with Danza in terms of all my practice numbers, so I knew I was going to be able to compete with him.
That is unfortunate. That's true. But one question, because you did spin in the quali, as you said, and you did crash there. Did you
Yeah.
run maybe some lower wings than the usual?
No, I was
around
running-
40?
I was using exactly what I was been practicing with. I did not change at all to gain any extra time. I would have loved to though. But no, I did I did the exact same setup. I think I was running 41, 33. So I had a good enough turn in, but I was fast enough as I needed to be. I felt pretty stable with it in terms of when I was practicing. Just unfortunately, like I said, I just put a little too much into it to try to warm up those tires, and I just kind of sent it off.
Yeah, well, we hope you'll come back here stronger next week in Baku, or maybe tomorrow if you'll reserve in the Pro Tier, as we know you're eligible to. And
No, I'm not actually.
oh, you can just shush it out, just give me the credit. Come on.
Yeah, something. We'll edit that part out.
Yeah,
something.
yeah.
Something.
Something.
Redacted, redacted.
But still, how are you looking towards the next race of chaotic?
To Baku.
Yeah, the chaotic energy race, exactly.
I love Baku. I think it's a great track. The only downside with it is, as you mentioned, it's very hectic in terms of safety cars, and honestly, coming into that track with a strategy is useless because there's guaranteed to going to be at least one safety car, in my opinion. So it like I said, it very much is useless to try to really plan for the entire race when anything is going to happen, and I mean literally anything. So I'm excited for it, but I'm also worried because if there's going to be that much like incidents, like there's a chance that you could be into that too. So
Yeah, well, then just wait for your chance and get it done, as it said. I wish you
Yeah.
good luck for the good luck. Yeah, I would rather say good fortune for the next race,
yeah,
as you are in the same academy of Red Bull, going underneath me. Maybe I'll have to
Yeah.
train you a little bit for Baku, as you seem
Please.
to lack a little bit of patience there. But well, I'll hopefully see you here again next week, and well, have a great evening and just go get a refreshing drink, as we can probably say the one I'm thinking of, and just try to forget about the race that just happened.
Yeah, thank you guys.
And before, I know we said it's gonna be the last one, but we do have the driver of the day in our minds, waiting for an interview. He just showed up. So Frico,
Oh, beautiful.
I'm gonna give you.
Bring them in.
I'm
Bring
gonna
in the
give you the
people.
mic.
Let the people speak to their champion.
I'm gonna let them speak to their champion. I'm gonna let you speak to their champion, but I'm gonna introduce him, so it's gonna be 50-50 from ours. So we see right here the man, the myth, the legend, the one that never gives up, Rocco, driver of the day for us in commentary booth at least. Welcome. You've been last. You've been third. You've been all around the field, and you finished still in the sixth position, which gives you a lot of points going into the constructors and drivers.
Yeah, I got pretty lucky at the end with all the guys getting taken out, but honestly, I'll take P6 after being last by 40 seconds.
Yeah, the beginning of that race was a little rough. What happened? A spin, an incident?
Yeah, I got a screen freeze, and it just when it came back, I was just sideways, so I couldn't recover. I had to just wait for everyone to go past.
Oh, ew. Okay, so the gaming gremlins kind of paid a little visit and got you there. Okay. Because, yeah, I saw you go into the pits almost straight away at the end of the first lap and, didn't really want to look too much into it. And I'm going, okay, they might go another lap or two and just kind of call it a day. And then next thing I know, you're back up there, still on the lead lap and fighting for a points position once the safety car had made its way out onto the track late in the race.
I mean, yeah, I had to pit the first time when I hit the wall because I got damage, but then the front wing for some reason didn't repair, so I had to come back in again and went on softs, and then they did not last long, so I just had to go back on the hards. But then I got the safety car and just managed to catch up.
When you went out on the softs, were you already thinking, okay, let me set a fast lap, steal a point away from somebody else, and I guess the question really is, why the softs? That's my big question here.
Well, I knew I would have had to go back straight away onto the hards because I knew that they were not gonna last long, and obviously I didn't have any really other choice because
Eh,
when I went into the
okay.
pits the first time, when the wing was supposed to change, I was gonna just stay out the whole time and not pit again, but then I had to just pit for softs, and then I'd go back on the hards later on after taking the fastest lap, but my lap wasn't very good anyway.
Okay. So just trying to make the best of the hand you were dealt. Fair enough. That seemed to be order of the day for you. Were
Yeah, I mean,
you
it's mostly.
impressed with sixth place at the end of it all, or were you expecting better, worse?
Well, starting P2, I was expecting a podium, but then after I spun, I thought maybe P10 or P9 or something would do. But yeah, I'm quite happy with P6 to be honest.
Okay. Well, that's good to hear. Well, looking forward, what do you think your prospects are looking for? Uh, your expectations going into Baku next week?
Baku is an okay track for me, but I'll need to do a lot of practice because I've not done many races there. I'll just need to do some practice and then just see how it goes. Maybe a top 5 finish.
All right. Well, hopefully, no more gaming gremlins. Baku is quite unforgiving when it comes to certain parts of the track, and a gaming gremlin showing up will pretty much insta end your race for you. So avoid the whammy, shall we say, as that was an amazing recovery drive from you, my friend. P6 and champion of the race in my heart for sticking it through with, the first lap incident and just sticking it all the way through, which points from me if I could give them to you.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, once again, congratulations. You are the myth, the one, the legend. Don't give up ever, as he just confirmed to everyone. It's still available to get some good points, even if you're last. So, thank you once again for racing today, and I hope you have a beautiful evening, and I hope you're proud of what you today achieved.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Have a good one. Alrighty, so that was most of our race, probably a little bit chaotic as well, as we were running a little bit low on fuel, at least on the quali from my side. But you pumped me up, we got it through, we muscled through, we got the interviews done, and I thank you for joining me today in the commentary booth, and I hope that we might work together next week as well.
Well, we'll see what happens. You never know. Take things week by week, just like a racer. You have a good week one week, kind of, bounce off the wall and don't do so good the next week. At the end of the day, it is what it is. So hopefully I will see you as well as everybody else at Baku next week.
Once again, thank you for joining me. I hope everybody watching had a great time watching both of us try and communicate with each other and work with each other. It was a pleasure from my side, and thank you all for watching.